Okay, welcome back to the channel. We've got some breaking news. It's a huge story. We're talking today about Moises Caicedo. This has been one of the biggest transfer sagas that we've had since we signed our last central midfielder, Enzo Fernandez, and what an ordeal that was. So what I want to do is go through the last 2 months of the transfer saga that is Moises Caicedo. Look at what it means to Chelsea, look at what it means for Liverpool, and then going forward, what it means for the Premier League and for Caicedo himself. So the transfer window started and we knew as Chelsea fans what was happening. Chelsea wanted Caicedo. It was very, very simple. But we know what Brighton are like. They are the hardest negotiators out there. Tony Bloom, he is so difficult to deal with. I don't know why we keep doing it to ourselves. We bought Cucurella, we bought Sanchez. Now we're in for Caicedo as well. We go in with the best intentions and we give them a bid. The bid probably started at what, £70 million? And we knew that that wasn't what they wanted. They wanted 100 million plus. And so we've been going through the whole summer thinking there can't really be any other bids or any other serious parties in. He's destined to come to Chelsea. So it went from 70 to 75 to 80 to 85. And then our final bid at the end of the summer, about a week ago now, was about £90 million. And we were talking about doing 90 plus 10, that sort of structure of the deal. So then we've even put in a deal for the Brighton goalkeeper Sanchez. We've done everything we possibly could to make this deal as sweet as possible. But we were rejected and rejected and rejected. And even with the 90 plus 10 deal that we submitted about a week ago, as I say, we were still rejected. And Brighton were holding out for 100 million plus. And so what did we do? We looked at alternative options. We put in a bid for Adams. We put in a bid for Lavia. Both of those, Adams 20 million, Lavia 48, it's considerably less than Caicedo. But were we playing mind games here? It seems like Brighton are going to choose Adams as the replacement for Caicedo. We're maybe playing a bit of mind games here, and Bowley's doing some 5D chess to be able to pull this deal off. And then we also bid for the Lavia target, which at the time felt like it was a really random bid to put in. We weren't necessarily in for him. Caicedo was our key target. Did we need Lavia, Adams and Caicedo? We didn't really. How are we going to fit all of those boys in the team? And so that felt to me like it was pushing up the bid and also pushing Brighton into some action. But then Liverpool come in and they try and spoil the party. They bid 115 million quid for Caicedo last night. There was an artificial deadline by Brighton of 12 AM last night. The bid comes in at 2 AM and it seems like they've got their man. It seems like the bid was accepted by Liverpool, and we woke up to the news that the deal was pretty much done, that he'd be driving up to Liverpool to get this medical. Personal terms apparently were a formality and the deal was pretty much there. We were going to lose out on our man that we spent this entire time trying to get. And so we are incredibly depressed as Chelsea fans at that point this morning. We think it's all over. We're talking about Lavia, we're talking about Adams, we're even talking about other 18-year-old kids that can fill this gap. We're talking about Ugo Chukwu coming in and not going on loan and actually playing for Chelsea. And the timeline goes into absolute frenzy. We don't know what to do. But then Caicedo puts out some news, don't know who through, comes to Sky Sports, and he says that he doesn't want to go to Liverpool. He's rejecting them and he wants to come to Chelsea. Now, whether that's going to stick, I've got absolutely no idea. Liverpool are the only ones at the moment that have put a bid in that Brighton are happy to accept, that £115 million. But there's more twists. Caicedo then follows Chelsea on Instagram. What the hell does that mean? I don't know. But in the modern era, you can read into things like this, can't you? And now, the position that we're in as of the moment that I'm recording right now, we have got to put the money up to see if we can get this guy. If we don't, he's going to end up being a Liverpool player. But now I want to talk about what this means for everyone. What does it mean for Chelsea? What does it mean for Brighton? And what does it mean for Liverpool? So for Brighton, ultimately, it means they win. They've got this huge transfer fee, a British record it's going to look like. They're going to be able to replace their man. And once again, it shows that they're experts in the transfer market because they've signed this guy for under £5 million. And now they're selling him for over 100 million more than that. And it means that both Chelsea and Liverpool lose, irregardless of the result here, regardless of if he goes to Chelsea or ends up going to Liverpool. So if Chelsea end up signing this guy, it's not all rosy at all. We've ended up paying a British transfer record. We know what it's done for players like Lukaku or Kepa, for example. Both come to Chelsea with a huge price tag and the pressure is immediately on with them. There's no room for excuses. They've got to come in and hit the ground running. If they don't, then they're laughed at. The whole Premier League laughs at them. And we've got this awful record of signing players for this huge amount of money and them not working out. And that's what I'm really, really worried about. I mean, we've done some really good transfer business this summer, haven't we? We've signed people like Jackson for £30 million. We've signed people like Andre Santos, who are amazing for the future, coming through for less than £20 million. That's the kind of deals that we need to be doing, finding players that aren't on the sort of worldwide list of players that people know about, but are on that next level below that are going to come up and become those players. And so I'm really worried about what this transfer fee is going to do for him and the stress that he's going to be under with this transfer budget looming over it. What we can't forget as well is that we've got an awful record for injury. And I'm touching wood here, and I'm praying that he doesn't get another injury if he does come over to Chelsea. But we've got to factor that in. If we spent £150 million on a player and this guy gets injured tomorrow, then we've lost that investment, right? And you can never think like that, because ultimately this guy could come in and never have an injury like Caicedo did, where he played 8 seasons in a row without coming off injured. So we've got to hope that he can do that. But if he does get injured, then again, we've still got a hole in the midfield. We're still going to have to recruit. And it's not complete there yet, especially if we sell players like Gallagher, for example, then we're still going to have to be in the market for midfielders. And let's not forget that if we spend £115 million, that budget is then not available for other transfers in the rest of the window. I remember Poch about a week ago was saying we need about 4 other players to come in to complete our squad. What's that going to look like after we've completed this deal? I'm not sure. Does it mean that we can only get 3? Does it only mean we can get 2 in? And if we can only get 2 in, what does our squad then look like for the rest of the season? And as a result, we put ourselves under even more pressure on sales now. So it means that Ziyech, Lukaku, all of the other academy boys that we're still waiting to sell, they need to get out the door as quickly as possible, because if we don't get those deals done, then you're looking over your shoulder for FFP. And I don't want to be going through the entire season now having fans question us and say, how can these guys afford these transfers? How can we keep sanctioning the deals? We need to be really worried about that. But I have faith that the people in charge of the transfers will get the deals done. We've got to remember that we have recouped over £200 million thus far just this summer in player sales. And you've got to hope that we can increase that with Lukaku and Ziyech and other players that are going out. And hopefully that balances the books a bit. But look, it's not all doom and gloom, is it? Like, I'm pretty happy with this deal if it does happen. We've got the guy that sits next to Enzo now, who is going to be a player for the next 5, 6, 7 years at Chelsea. He will unlock Enzo in a way that we haven't seen him play thus far, with a proper defensive midfielder behind him, and allow him to go forward. And I think that's a key factor that we're not really thinking about right now. I've said it over and over again. Enzo isn't necessarily just a DM, and he's a bit wasted in that way. He has the skills and the ability to push on and make a difference in the final third, and we need to see him play that, and Caicedo allows him to do that. Now, could that have been done with Lavia? Yes. Could it have been done in the same way and to the same ability? I don't think so. So to get this guy in, yes, it's going to cost a fortune, and yes, it might implicate our other business, but overall, we've twerked for him all summer, and so we have to get this deal done. And if we do, our midfield is looking a lot more solid. We just need potentially one more reinforcement, and we are there, we're sorted. And the squad's looking absolutely quality for years to come. But then let's quickly talk about Liverpool. What does it mean for them? Well, it shows that they've got the cash to do deals like this. And so their fans are going to be questioning them and going, why haven't you stumped up the money for Bellingham? Why haven't you stumped up the money for Tchouaméni? Why are you coming in this last minute window trying to hijack a deal for Caicedo, who apparently is on the market, but looks like he's set on Chelsea? And so it feels incredibly last minute, and it feels like almost Brighton have gone to them and encouraged them to bid and to see what they could get out of it and increase that bidding war, which they've always looked to do. And yeah, they're going to be under immense pressure now. The fans are going to be giving FSG and the board an incredible time. I mean, they were doing it all summer anyway. They've gone into the season with, I really think, 2 senior quality level midfielders, and they can't do that. They're playing 3 in midfield. They can't now say that they haven't spent the money. I mean, it's very clear that they've got cash to spend, and FSG are willing to spend it. But it seems like they haven't got their man this time, and they're going to have to go in for other alternatives in the market. I don't think that's necessarily the worst thing in the world. I mean, Lavia is going to come in. He's 19 years old. He's going to cost under half of what Caicedo is going to cost. And actually, they're relatively similar profile players. And that's why, for me, last night, when the Caicedo deal seemed lost, we were always going to go in for Lavia as an alternative option. And I wasn't necessarily that concerned. The reason being is that you're effectively saving 65 million to find a player that might not quite be there, but it's 19 years old. He has the potential to be a Caicedo level player. So I think either way, both teams are going to be relatively happy with what actually happens here. And if they do sign Lavia for 50 million or around that price, that means they can go in and bid for another midfielder that can complete that midfield. I mean, they do not have enough players, even if they signed Caicedo. and they then potentially wouldn't have other budget to spend. So again, if you get Lavia in, you can sign another midfielder, and then you've got that complete setup that they're going to need to compete in the Premier League and all of the other cup competitions that they've got this season. So if I was a Liverpool fan watching, I wouldn't be downbeat by this, and I think there is potential that you could come out smelling of roses and actually be happier by the end of this transfer window. But what does it mean for us both Liverpool and Chelsea? Really, it means that we haven't got our squad complete by the start of the season. We're playing each other on Sunday. We both don't have our midfield targets sorted. And so really both of us lose in that scenario. We haven't been able to complete the business that we need to do. We haven't been able to put them through the paces and the fitness checks that they need to go through to start the season and compete at the Premier League level, the most physical league in the world. Chelsea are going to be tarred with the brush of FFP and spending and potentially overspending, and we're never going to end up living that title down really. We're going to be tarred with this brush. We've nearly spent $1 billion since Todd Boehly took over. And yeah, we've recouped a lot of money as well, but we're still going to have to sell more players to be able to balance those books. And Brighton, the master sellers, win again. They're going to sign another player for under £5 million. They'll be laughing, and they're playing European football, and Chelsea are not. So really, they're the winners here. But what do you think? Are we going to end up matching this offer? Would you rather have Caicedo at that price, or would you rather have we walked away? And would you have been happy with Lavia and Adams coming in as an alternative? Let me know in the comments below. I'm really interested to see what you guys think. And stay tuned to the channel. I've got another video dropping in the next couple of days, if not today, which will be talking about the Premier League standings and my predictions for the 23-24 season. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you again soon.